I'm John Michelle, President and CEO of Detroit, Maryville, St. Jacob Marine Chamber of Commerce. And guess what today is? Drinking with Dawn and an expert. I usually don't have to do that, Ken. So I get to point to the expert right there. Ken is here to talk about Medicare. Ken, tell us a little about your background and what you can help us with today.
A little about my background. I've been in the health insurance business since 1986, but I've been focusing exclusively on Medicare the last 4 years. So I have a great background in health insurance itself, but also the differences with Medicare. There are a lot of differences with Medicare, and every situation is unique for each person.
Let's talk about those cheesy Medicare annual enrollment date commercials, Ken. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're here and they're good for the economy. I will say that. But think of this time of year. Don't worry about the ads on TV. Think about what you can do if you want to do something. So if you're happy with everything, you don't need to do anything. It doesn't matter how many phone calls, because your phone will ring off the hook for the whole time frame, and there's really not a great way to stop the calls. But what you can do is change coverage. You can add coverage if you want to. Just review things. Make sure it still fits your needs. So that's what this time frame is for. It's October 15th to December 7th, and then the coverage is effective January 1st.
So make sure they can set a meeting with you. You can help them with what coverage is offered out there. There's a lot.
There is a lot, and it's just a matter of boiling down what works for you.
Mm-hmm. So I think we talked about mom and dental, and you said, then you go look for the dental if that's important to you. But if it's not, you don't look for that dental. You look for whatever it's important to you.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And what about appointments? How would they make appointments with you?
Just call. I meet people wherever they're at. My office is the largest in the world in that I can meet you anywhere. Oh. Maybe U.S., but I am local. I will meet at your home. Sometimes I meet at a local restaurant, sometimes at a business. I've met in libraries. And some people, they pick whatever works for them. A minority of people actually pick to do it exclusively via phone, which is also available. Everything can be done electronically also. Not my preferred way, but I want everybody to be comfortable.
So if I already have it, how do I know I want to possibly change it? I talk to people and they say, I have this and it covers this. Is that how I find out, or do I find out meeting with you?
Well, two ways. Every year, if a member is enrolled on a Medicare Advantage plan, they will get what's called an annual notice of change. That's required by Medicare that every carrier has to send it out, and it'll show the coverage for this year, and it'll show the coverage for next year. So that way you know what the changes are, and if you're okay with them, you can say, hey, I'm good. I don't need to do a thing. Or if you want to say, hey, I kind of want to talk about a few things, then just call. We have a conversation. Sometimes we meet. We go through things. Sometimes people change. Sometimes they don't. It's all in what works for you. And if you have a supplement, and then Part D is separate, D for drug, it's not designed that way, but it works, that you will actually get an annual notice of change. There's a lot of changes this year with Medicare due to the Inflation Reduction Act that changed the prescription drug benefits for everybody in the country. So everybody's Part D plan will change. So this is a year where people will probably have more questions than normal.
And hopefully they receive that postcard letter or whatever to show them where to go. What age am I coming to meet with you? 62 and a half is Medicare?
Well, Medicare is actually 65 if you're except if you're disabled. If you're disabled and you qualify, then you can be any age as long as you have a qualifying condition. But 65, but sometimes people want to talk maybe about a year out and just ask questions, kind of what do they need to do to enroll? There's a lot of resources out there because you enroll in Medicare through Social Security. That's how you enroll in Medicare. And that's a bit confusing, but the door in is through Social Security. You don't have to take Social Security to sign up for Medicare.
So sometimes people don't want to take it early.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But that's why it confuses people, because they say that they don't want to take it, but yet they still have to go through that door to get the coverage.
So if you're 64, you should be making an appointment with this guy, because we should be talking about where you're going with your insurance. I also have what are the important things for Medicare enrollees to consider when choosing a medical and prescription drug plan? Because all of us have different needs.
Definitely. What you're going to want to do is look at the doctor list, if you will. Look at the hospital list. Look through all your prescriptions. All drug plans are different. They will be different copays based on, each carrier. Look at the reputation of the carrier. Candidly, ask your doctor, does the plan have referrals or not? So those are things that you should pay attention. And what do you like? What can you afford? And what type of coverages, as you mentioned earlier, dental, is that important to you? Then you focus more on coverages that have, more generous dental benefits, for example. So there's a whole, a market basket of things to pay attention to.
So really just put your priorities in order. Like if keeping your doctor is really your big priority, you're going to put that number one. If dental insurance is number two, and then from there, and then you're just going to be able to help them sort of take all that mess and put it together to see what plan's best for them.
Correct. And that is their choice. I don't pick plans. I help guide. I'm essentially an educator.
Nice. Very nice. And we need that because I totally don't understand anything about it. I'm almost old enough, but I'm not quite enough. I'm not going to be seeing you very soon, but kind of soon. Can I change my plan in April?
There's a few ways that you can change your plan. Special enrollment periods. So if you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, you have January, February, and March is a period. It's called the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. So that is available, and you can make plan changes then. For whatever reason. You don't need to. It's kind of like voting now. No excuse voting, no excuses. You can make a change. If you're outside of that time frame, the only way you can make a change is if you have what's called a special enrollment period. Let's say you win the lottery and you move to Florida. Well, then you're going to get a different plan design in Florida, for example. Certain critical or chronic conditions can qualify for a special enrollment period.
That's important.
If you qualify for extra help from Medicare, you could get a special enrollment period. Or if you're working past 65 and you retire and you lose the employer coverage, that's a special enrollment period also.
Perfect. And I just want to go back to what you said because I didn't realize this. You have to go to the Social Security office to sign up for Medicare, even if you don't want to take your Social Security early.
Correct.
I had no idea.
Correct.
I didn't know that. Has that always been that way, I guess?
I'm not sure if it's always been that way, but it's definitely the way it is now. And I guess actually you hit on something. Mm-hmm. Things do change once in a while, so it's always best to double check.
Right.
It's always best to double check. That's why I say 64 is kind of a good checkpoint, just to start asking the questions so you're not waiting till the last minute and all rushed. Because it's a lot to consider.
It is a lot. And I think also if you're considering Social Security and not, you got to, look and see, well, when I'm 70, if I wait till then, how much I'm going to make a month, and will that equal out to what I need in here? So it is a lot, but it sounds like, I don't know how long it takes to get a Social Security meeting, but I would say when you're 64, that's a good number. What other resources are out there for people to take a peek at, maybe online, or I know you are a resource, but beyond that?
Well, there's plenty of online resources. You have socialsecurity.gov. You can call them. There's resources available. At Medicare, 1-800-Medicare. The state health insurance program, there's a web page for that you can look at. There's also a web page called Medicare Made Clear. It is a United Healthcare page. However, it is, I'll call it it's more in plain English. So it just helps explain things because Medicare puts out a lot of good information, but it's very complicated. The Medicare and you
just write it normal.
Yeah, and Medicare Made Clear does.
Well, that's my kind of would say that.
And then, if I'm normal, but I can do it in person. So a lot of people do a lot of research, and I appreciate that. But then when you have questions after you've done that, then we can sit down and talk. Because one common thing that can occur, somebody talks to their friend or a family member and they say, hey, this happened to me, be careful about this. Well, it may or may not apply to them. And that's a real issue at times, because sometimes people say, well, this happened to my friend. Well, but your situation's different because of, and then there's a list of things about your situation, because everybody's situation is different. Husbands and wives can have different situations based on their coverage needs.
I mean, absolutely. Some free stuff that you have. Also, I was in my heart doctor's office the other day, and there were a lot of seniors in there, and I just feel bad that they don't have internet or they don't do the internet, but you can go to your library. If you know enough to get on the internet and just want to read, your library is free. You can go in, and I think you have to give them your driver's license just to borrow for an hour a computer. And then from there, you can take a look, or you can, of course, call Ken. But if you have some elderly people, say they're older and they just want to change, you feel like they need to change insurances, just make it available to them. So if they don't have internet, it's you. And is it
or another agent? I mean,
I'm
certainly not the only one, but make sure it's somebody that that in some way, shape, or form. Be it the chamber, would be one area, or they're a chamber member, because certainly there's some connectivity there. Or do you know someone who uses the individual? Or if you don't know any of the above, have a conversation. Make sure you're comfortable. It's important that you are able to work together. And one of the things that I focus on, since I work for myself, that I'll take as long as as you need. Some people like to get it over with as quick as possible, just kind of boil it down. Others like to go into great detail. It's a matter of working for you as the member and what's going to make you comfortable with the decision, not only up front, but also service after the sale.
And then they can come to you throughout the year if they have questions, if things aren't the way they thought they would be, and you could help them.
Correct.
So I have my checkbook out, Ken. How much is this going to cost me?
Well,
I got it. I'm ready.
There are several zero premium Medicare Advantage plans, or on the Medicare supplement side, the premium is based on your age, your gender, and where you live, and the plan design you pick. So there's two different, pieces, and the drug cost will vary based on the drug side. So if you look at, the two doors to get Medicare coverage for medical and drugs, door number one would be the supplement in a Part D plan separate. So that gets you medical and drugs, premium for each. The other door is the Medicare Advantage, which is either zero premium or a low premium.
And then what about the checkbook? And my other check I need to write is to you, correct?
No, there's no.
Free.
The compensation is built into the products, but there's also no reduction if you do it yourself, because all those ads on TV with the 800 numbers, you can call, you can do it all that way, but then you don't have any resources, if you will, but you also don't get anything extra by doing it yourself. So let me do the work. I'm happy to do the work.
I can't imagine doing this myself. Like I would need like a whole wall of options and to pull the Post-it note off, and I think about people in their 80s and their family doesn't live close. I mean, you'd be ideal to meet them and go over what their plan is.
I have clients where their children live further away, and then we kind of do a call and whatnot, or meet when they're in town. So yes, that is actually relatively common. And I sign up people. I have some clients that I've signed up over the age of 90. So it's really, whatever the age is, 65 generally to, I don't have any centenarians yet, but
I have one. I played cards with Dolores last night. I'm just going to say it. 101 and a half should be 102 next week.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome? She's like doing her own thing. I love it. So, there are people out there that are living much longer.
Yes. Who
need Medicare, who need prescriptions. And I think just seeing you at the low cost of zero. And, I'm a one-on-one person too. I don't want to go on the internet and try to find it, because I feel like, you could make the wrong decision and it could hurt you for money-wise a long time.
There are some key steps you do need to, that's an excellent point, that you do need to pay attention to so you don't have a misstep that can impact you for a long time. Very well stated.
Any other follow-up, anything? At the end of this video, we will, I say we, I don't know how to do it. The interns will put your information so people can contact you, and then when we share it, we'll also have your contact information. You can also find it on the Chamber's website at troymaryvillecoc.com. Any final thoughts?
I just want to say thank you. It's a very complex subject, but it doesn't have to be. Just take the time, invest in, the time to have a conversation, because it'll yield dividends for you, and you'll be happier, and it'll work a whole lot smoother for you. So that's
very nice. We'll look at Drinking with Dawn.
Yeah.
Drinking with Dawn. Thank you, McDonald's. Thank you, Christy, and your team. You do a great job on behalf of the Troy, Maryville, St. Jacob Chamber of Commerce. Oh, I got to do that again. Troy, Maryville, St. Jacob Marine Chamber of Commerce. Ken and I would like to say thank you and have a fantastic day.